Good morning, children. Sairam. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and safe at your homes. I hope you all are doing study and obeying your parents. I appreciate you all that you all are doing studies at home, helping your parents and doing study well. Children, today we will study English grammar. In previous video, you have learned about writing skills. In that video, you learned notice writing and report writing. Today again, we will learn something more about writing skills. Today we will study how to write a letter. What is letter writing? Children, do you know why we write a letter? What is the use of writing letter? Children, in earlier times, the only mode of communication was letter writing. Letter writing is exchange of information, sharing of ideas and thoughts. So, letter writing is an important channel of communication between people who are geographically distant from one another. There are two types of letters, formal letter and informal letter. What is formal letter? Formal letters are written for conveying important information. Formal letter can be written to authorities, organization or institution. It can be written to principal, to class teacher. It can be written to editor of newspaper. As I told you that there are two types of letters, formal letters and informal letters. Formal letters can be written to authorities, to organization or institution, principal or class teacher. It can be written to editor of newspaper. Now we will see the format of formal letter. Children, always remember that when we write formal letter, we start with sender's address. Sender's address should be written on the left hand side corner on the top of the page. Next step is to write the date just below the address. Then we write receiver's address, to whom we are writing. Like if we are writing a letter to the principal, so in receiver's address, first we write to the principal and the name of the school. Then comes subject. In subject we write purpose of writing a letter. Next step is salutation. In salutation, if we don't know the name of the person, we write Dear Sir or Madam. Next step is body. In body, we start with introductory paragraph. In this, we start with our introduction, then elaborate the detail. Third is conclusion. Next step is complementary closing. When we end the letter, we can write thanking you, yours faithfully, sincerely, obediently, truly. Children, remember, when we write yours, don't put apostrophe in yours. Simply write yours faithfully. Now, how to write informal letters. Informal letters are written to close acquaintances of the writer, their friends, family, relatives, etc. When we write informal letters, we use personal tone. Casual language is used while writing informal letters, and sometimes the letters may even have an emotional tone. Informal letters mainly used for personal communication, so they do not have to follow any specific pattern. It can be written as per the writer's wish and the requirement of the situation. Format of informal letter. When we write informal letter, these steps we have to follow. First step is address. The first thing is to write is your address. The address of the writer. We usually write the address on the left hand side of the page at the very top. Next step is date. Just below the address we write the date. Next step is greeting. Now you know the person. You are writing a letter. It can be informal as well. If it is a friend or someone close to your age, you can greet them by their first name, like dear Mahi. If you are writing to your relative like your mother, father, aunt, uncle, etc., you may greet them such as dear mom. And if you are writing to an elder person, someone you respect greatly, you can address them as Mr. or Mrs. Next step is introduction paragraph. Now we begin writing the letter. The introductory paragraph sets the tone for the whole letter. You can begin the letter by asking about their well-being, or you may say that you hope the letter finds them in good health. The opening of informal letters should be casual and comforting. It must not be formal and direct as in business letter. Next step is body of the letter. The letter overall should maintain a friendly tone, but you have to adjust the language and the wordings according who you are writing to. With a friend you can afford to be very casual, but if you are writing to an elder relative, you must be extremely respectful and considerate. Next step is conclusion. In this conclusive paragraph, sum up the reason for writing the letter. Say a meaningful and affectionate goodbye to the reader to whom you are writing a letter. And do not forget to invite the reader to write back or reply to your letter. It shows an intention to keep the conversation going. Last step is signature. Signature. There is no one way to sign off informal letters. They do not follow a strict format. You may sign off as you wish to. Some commonly used phrases are: you can write when you end the letter, lots of love, best wishes, kind regards. Pick the one that best suits the occasion and then simply sign your name below the greetings. Let's see the one example of formal letter. First see the example of formal letter, then we will see the example of informal letter. Write a letter to the health officer of your city complaining about the accumulation garbage at the street corner. In this, the first step is address. First step is address. House number 64, Kankhal, Haridwar. This is the address. Below the address, we write date, 16th September 2020. Next is the receiver's address. To the health officer, Municipal Corporation, Haridwar. Next step is subject. Collection of garbage at the street corner or the complaint. Next, we salutation. Dear sir. At last, we can write below yours faithfully, or we can write yours sincerely, XYZ. We can mention here our designation also. Now we will see the example of informal letter. A letter to your uncle on his 60th birthday. As I told you, we start to write informal letter with sender's address. Here is the address, Hillview, Hiranandani Estate of GB Road, Thane. So, first we write address, sender's address. Next is date, 16th September 2020. Then we write salutation or greetings, my dear uncle. When we end the letter, we should end with some commonly used phrases are: we can write lots of love, best wishes, kind regards. So here we can write kind regards. XYZ. You can write below name.